there everyone, welcome to your MLB As video for Friday, September 28th, 2018. Pretty much, you're looking at the bracket right now for the 2018 Major League Baseball playoffs, as the American League has been set in stone about 95%, well, yeah, I would say 97, 98% of it. The 2% I'll get into in just a sec with the American League, but yes, we know the matchup for the American League wild card is set in stone. It will be the New York Yankees playing the Oakland Athletics. Now, this is very important to bring up for the Athletics here because history was made for them. The Oakland A's have not made the playoffs in a very long time. Pretty much, if you look at this number correctly, the last time they were in the playoffs was 2014, and we will confirm that right now. So here we go. 2014. That was the last time the Oakland A's were in the playoffs. Now, if anybody remembers that, that was the year that the San Francisco Giants defeated the Kansas City Royals in the World Series. And we'll confirm that right now. MLB. I know I'm going a little off topic, but I was curious to know who Oakland lost the last time they were in the wild card game. Let's see. Yeah, I remembered. Yes, now I remember. The Royals did beat the A's in the wild card game. Now I remember this. Now I definitely remembered. We're going to bring up the 2011 season in just a second. Go back to the playoff picture. So the winner of the Yankees Athletics game would go on to play the Red Sox. We have the Indians playing the Astros. The Astros have the second best record in the American League, so that would mean they would host the first two games of the divisional series. Of course, the winner of the wild card game has to play two games with Boston. Boston has the best record in baseball, honestly. You look at the numbers. National League, we have to figure out what's happening here. If the season were to end today, the wild card game would be the LA Dodgers playing the Milwaukee Brewers. They would go on to play the Cubs at Wrigley because Chicago has the best record in the National League. You have your 2-3 matchup. I would assume that Colorado would be right. Colorado would be the 3 seed, and then the Braves would be the 2 seed. Alright, so Atlanta would host the first 2 games in that series. Okay. Now I see what we got here. The Yankees now have a 2.5 game, well, 2 games if you want to look at the numbers. They hold a 2-game lead over the A's for the first wild card game, so it's overwhelmingly likely that the 2018 American League wild card game will be played at Yankee Stadium. This weekend, the Athletics will be visiting the Anaheim Angels, while the Yankees are, of course, at Boston, which nobody really has anything to play for. So I will pull up the postseason schedule. Make sure we can get it. I will make sure that this tab will be moved over here. That way we all can look it up later on. Right now, the National League. That's what we have to talk about, everyone. Cubs are clinging to a 1-game lead over the Brewers in the NL Central, which will provide the top NLC. The Cubs host the Cardinals for a 3-game series to end the season, which means today, since it's a tradition to have it at Wrigley on Friday, will be the Friday matinee game that they always usually play during the season because Wrigley used to never have lighting, and they always wanted to play on a Friday afternoon. So that doesn't surprise me. Alright, Cubs host the Cardinals for a 3-game series to end the season. It seems like the Cubs have choked away a big lead. They have won 9 of the last 14 games and have a record of 93-66. They haven't clinched the division yet because the Brewers, they're not going away anytime soon. And this is where I bring up the 2011 season, as the Milwaukee Brewers did, however, yes indeed they did, clinched. I'm trying to get you the bracket here. Here we go. Clinched their first playoff appearance since 2011. Any of you don't remember, the Milwaukee Brewers had, everybody remembers this guy, Prince Fielder. So Milwaukee lost in that series to the Cardinals. And of course I remember this was the series where Derek Jeter was injured. I don't want to get into that. But yes, the Brewers have clinched their first playoff berth since 2011. That's a very big deal because Milwaukee's had a pretty incredible season. Since August 18th, their record has been 24-10, which is easily the best mark in the National League in that span. They come home with a 4-game winning streak to face pretty much a miserable Detroit Tigers team. If the Brewers can't pass the Cubs this weekend, they will be the top wild card. So pretty much, Milwaukee has clinched home field. Well, not in stone yet, but we'll look at the standings in just a second to confirm that. But it's destined that the Brewers could host the wild card game next week. Colorado. This is the interesting situation in the West. They have won 7 games in a row to seize control of the NL West from the Dodgers. Much like the Central, this is a 1-game lead with 3 to go, so nothing can be clinched earlier than Saturday. The Rockies host the Nationals for a 3-game series this weekend at Coors Field. The Dodgers are currently in the second wildcard spot, holding a 1-game lead over the Cardinals. More importantly in that clubhouse, though, it is finding a way to come back from the 1-game deficit and win the NL West for the 6th straight season. Standing in the way, a 3-game series in San Francisco against the hated San Francisco Giants, who would love nothing more to prevent the Dodgers from even making the playoffs if they don't. I know Giant fans, they're going to be into the series this weekend because they don't like the Dodgers. So, I'm sure Giant fans will show up at AT&T Park and they will root on to prevent the Dodgers from clinching a playoff spot. So the Cardinals were just swept at home by the Brewers and are on the outside looking in. They are 1 game back with 3 to play in tall order. They have to face the Cubs, and the Cubs have to lock down the Central. In the NL... Let me just read this for a sec. So we'll take a look at the standings. We'll see here in just a second. So Milwaukee has to lose 3 in a row. That would mean Chicago's number would be down to 2 if they were to win today. If they were to. Dodgers, same number, 3. So now we're going to look at the standings. Just a second here. Here's the 2-game lead for the Yankees right here. Oakland, again, everyone's been eliminated, so no need to worry about that in the AL. National League. This is where we look it up. So Milwaukee has a 4.5-game lead on the first wild card. Alright, so that would mean they host the wild card game, and or the Cubs would host the wild card game. So no matter what, a team from the National League Central with that amount of number of wins is guaranteed to host the National League wild card game. So the Cardinals are 1 game back. So it's just going to have to be up to about I would say 5 teams this weekend. The Cubs, Brewers, Cardinals, Rockies, and then the Dodgers. So it's 5 teams we all need to keep an eye on in the National League this weekend. So if you're looking forward to a lot of fun this weekend, I think you need to keep an eye on the National League, because this is going to be a hectic weekend, in my opinion, as we are on the last weekend of the season. So we'll take a look at the schedule. First up, the wild card games. The National League game would be on Tuesday, which would be on the 2nd. That game would be on ESPN. Next up, the American League game. All American League playoff games will be on TBS. That I will confirm to everybody right now. So the American League wildcard game would be on TBS Wednesday, October 3rd. Now, the only problem is we just do not know who is pitching in the game yet. I just don't know if Masahiro Tanaka will be pitching or if J.A. Happ will be pitching. There was even rumors that Lance Lynn might even pitch that game. So it all depends on what, honestly, the teams decide to do here. Okay, so the divisional series should start no later than October 4th in the National League. The American League, it would start on Friday. Alright, so that is some news there to discuss. The Game 5s of the National League Divisional Series would take place, if necessary, on October 10th. And then the American League 1 would take place on the 11th. We do have the League Championship Series for National League October 12th. And then October 13th would be Game 1 of the ALCS. That's interesting. It really is. I could watch that game if it goes on to I know Gilbert Gottfried's performing that day. I'm just randomly thinking, everyone. I know I'm seeing him that day. Yeah, if I can get out by before 9:30, I could definitely get home and watch the game on TV. No big deal. I wouldn't be worried about that. So let's see what else we got here. Game 7. Okay, this is interesting. Game 7 of the American League Championship Series would take place on October 21st. That's interesting. I don't have a problem with that because the 20th I have plans anyway. Alright, so the 20th would be the American League one. I mean the National League one. I'm sorry, but if you're not on the big network, something isn't right. They have to put that game on Fox. So this is the World Series schedule. First game would begin on the 23rd. And then the World Series is guaranteed to end on October 31st, which would be Halloween. So this schedule pretty much makes sense this year. I'm glad that we're playing it out for the whole month, it looks like. So October should be fun. It should be a fun month. Talk some Yankee news. We got news on Didi Gregorius and Aaron Hicks. Hicks tested his tight left hamstring by running the bases. The switch-hitting outfielder is likely to start Friday's series opener at Fenway Park in Boston. Didi Gregorius torn cartilage, right wrist, hit on the field for the first time since Saturday's injury as he slid into home plate to help the Yankees clinch the wild card spot. Alright, so it's pretty much best to keep him healthy, and if you want him to start the wild card game on Wednesday, that would be something. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole CC thing. I like to. I have a video on that in my sports playlist if you want to watch it. Okay. Tonight, J.A. Happ will pitch Friday against the AL East champion Red Sox. Oh, forgot to mention David Wright. I'll put that here in just a second. Put that here and we'll pull the article up. So anyhow, before we get off topic, yes, Happ is pitching tonight. That puts Happ in line to potentially start the wild card game on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I can't... Okay, here we go. Lance Lynn pitching on Saturday and Luis Severino starting on Sunday. Alright, so if anybody's asking, I gave you all the right information just now. We'll just close all the tabs up. Sorry about that, everyone. Don't want to have too many tabs open, because then I will get confused here. Now, if you are not aware of a big event happening at Citi Field tomorrow night, David Wright, the New York Mets captain, will be starting at third base for the final time in his Major League Baseball career. I'll explain it all for you in case you are not familiar with this. Just trying to keep going down. I'll explain what this spinal stenosis is, in case anybody is wondering. I might as well discuss this very quickly. Spinal stenosis is a narrowing of the spinal canal. It typically occurs in the neck and the lower back, cervical spine, and the lumbar spine. Both areas in which Mr. Wright has suffered injuries over the past few years. So, Dr. Fisher, who's this guy again? I'm trying to figure it out. Charlotte Fisher, okay. Charlotte Fisher says, if you think of a tube of water, the spinal stenosis is the kink in the tube of the water or the kink in the hose. The signals go through, and it starts to get less and less room, and the nerves get pinched in that area, and they open up below. According to the doctor, disc degeneration or arthritis serves as ways of narrowing the canal. Dr. Fisher has treated patients who are active in baseball or golf before who suffer from spinal stenosis. Some people just have early breakdown of the disc spaces, and that's mostly based on genetics. Most athletes, like David Wright, do not have spinal stenosis. So once again, I told my friends this. You know, this is a guy who just had bad luck, and he didn't deserve this. Serpents. Yeah. Will Wright see any setbacks in normal daily life post-baseball? As long as he isn't having any leg numbness while walking, he should be able to walk and drive, and normal activity is a daily activity he should be fine with. But the extreme stress of being a professional athlete, that might not be possible. He's still pretty young, but I still have a bad feeling he's calling it. I still have a bad feeling. I just know it's going to happen. Lastly, we will look at standings. AL batting average. Looks like Mookie Betts is leading the American League in batting average. Yelich in the National League. At the Brewers, he has a .321 average. Chris Davis has 47 home runs, but the average just doesn't add up, and I'll show you that in just a second here. Let's get his average. Get you all an idea. Chris Davis has a 249 average. So they're not looking it up based on that. They're looking it up based on, you know, RBIs and all that stuff. Yeah, JD Martinez. So it's going to be very close to figure out who wins the American League. Javier Baez has 111 runs batted in. Manny Machado has 37 home runs. I don't know if that would qualify him because, remember, he was on an American League team. He was. That's interesting. Let's go to pitchers. Snell has 21 wins. So that would guarantee him the American League Cy Young Award because you look at the ERA, you look at the wins, the writers have to think that if he's leading the league in wins and all that stuff, then it's possible that you give him the numbers right here. 211 strikeouts. 211 strikeouts is an incredible number. I mean, I'll check Kluber's numbers and I'll prove to you all that maybe he does make the case. See, he has a few more strikeouts than Snell does. But the catch is, he doesn't have a historic ERA. Kluber does. And in the National League, it's going to be close. It's going to be close between DeGrom and Scherzer here. And then I'll give you an award for saves. But they just like to look at that number for historic purposes. So that's going to wrap up the MLB As Of video for today. I believe that it's just not appropriate to do a video about the last day of the season because, again, I have a family event I have to go to early in the morning, and I'm just not going to be able to, you know, give my final thoughts on the final day. So, possibility with this is I can do a video most likely on Monday when I get home from work. That's when I want to be able to do. If I can do that, it'll be a shorter video of just talking about the matchups, and hopefully I will be able to preview all of the games, the National League and the American League wild card, and hopefully by Thursday I can give you my thoughts on the games, wild card games, and give you my thoughts on the matchups for the American League and National League Divisional Series. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, please take care.